the Biden's Ministry of Truth, which is not called the Ministry of Truth, but they're really hoping that it gets named that. I will say that when it comes to like slanderous fake terms for stuff, calling this Biden's Ministry of Truth doesn't sound nearly as bad as they think it does. That's why they're like the Disinformation Bureau or whatever they're calling it is what they're trying to pick up, because the Ministry of Truth took off and it sounds like you have to like, there are a lot of political terms you have to windstorm them. If somebody said them to you in a windstorm, would you automatically think what they were saying was bad or good? Like Biden's Ministry of Truth, like you're like, oh, truth. I heard ministry, and I heard Biden, and ministers are good. I have a good idea about them, and truth is a good thing, right? So the windstorm test, it fails miserably. You know, if you were like Biden's Disinformation Bureau, that might, you're like bureau, just say dresser, right? Anyways, this is a Michael Savage. The Biden gang is moving our nation back to the dark ages. I know what you're thinking. It's the GOP that's trying to make women resort to self-immolation instead of having medically safe abortions. And Michael Savage's real name is Michael Weiner. Agreed.
Truth. This week, the Biden administration working overtime, telling us why we need.
First of all, why are you falling backwards into a city? I'm all for perspective tricks, but that's fucked up. What do you want? It's like if Batman turned his back on the world.
Them to help us make sense of all the different kinds of information we're exposed to. Here's Jen Psaki.
Let me be clear on exactly what this board does, or what the work they are doing does. And in their announcement, which is publicly available on the Department of Homeland Security website for anyone to read, it says, quote, "The primary mission is to establish best practices to ensure that efforts to understand and respond to disinformation are done in ways that protect privacy, civil rights, and civil liberties, and the right to free speech."
One of the threats is the threat of disinformation. We see it from Russia. We see it from the cartels.
Mayorkas can't even define disinformation. Well, that would be active lies as opposed to passive lies. Misinformation is a passive lie. You don't know something's wrong or a lie, and you pass it on because you're stupid. I have a cousin whose friend said that they, put ivermectin in a Nerf dart and fired it up their asshole, and it cured their COVID in under 20 minutes. And then after a game of telephone, bunch of you are in the toy aisle at Target with plans to go to a veterinary clinic afterwards. That would be misinformation. Disinformation is a bunch of people sitting around going, I bet you $55 to start on this. I bet you $55 that I could talk these redneck assholes into coating Nerf bullets with ivermectin and shooting it in bookhal. You're on.
Peddling of disinformation that threatens the security of the homeland. And when that threat is evident, that is when we become involved.
He seemed, why can't he define disinformation? How do you? That seemed pretty reasonable.
And the problem here, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas couldn't even come up with a definition for disinformation. Watch.
What this working group does is precisely what I would think you would want it to do, which is to take a look at the work, the disinformation work that our department has done, and ask the following questions. Do we have policies? Do we have guardrails? Do we have standards?
But here's the problem. We can't even agree. We can't even agree what disinformation is. You can't even agree that it was disinformation, that the Russians fed information to the Steele dossier. If you can't agree to that, how are we ever going to come to an agreement on what is disinformation so you can police it on social media? I think you've got no idea what disinformation is, and I don't think the government's capable of it.
See, I think the Chiron's a bit funky here. unless Mayorkas says, I don't really have a definition for you, Senator. It seems that Rand Paul is simply asserting that he doesn't have a definition for disinformation because that definition or the stories that he's specifically talking about are in contrast to the kind of disinformation that Rand Paul is actively engaged in with his fucking dad and his bullshit Fed story.
Do you know who the greatest propagator of disinformation in the history of the world is?
Governments.
The U.S. government.
Bullshit. Again, fuck you. And unless, what are you going to follow? Why? Because the world is, the earth is flat. It's surrounded by an ice ring. We can't get past it because of the black helicopters. And of course, the U.S. government created AIDS with Sasquatch fucking DNA while we were faking the moon landing. Get the fuck out of here. And I don't know. Hold on. I need to look up something real quick. Yeah. I don't think Rand Paul has ever been to China. Because if he had been, he would know that he's talking out of his ass.
And what's more, the person tasked with overseeing this critical operation is responsible for peddling some of the biggest disinformation out there.
I think there's a general concern about Trump supporters potentially showing up armed to the polls. Groups of irregular supporters are going to show up at the polls to intimidate people and quote unquote watch. And that's very disturbing.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about that. They were even talking amongst themselves that they should be armed in case anybody tries to keep them from going. She didn't invent this.
Should not be normalizing the use of conspiracy theories and disinformation in our politics. We need to disincentivize it.
We're seeing all sorts of conspiracy theories that people are finding via social media. So they might be in a QAnon group, and then suddenly they're recommended a group that's looking at anti-vax conspiracy theories, or they're looking at information about Hunter Biden and his laptop, his alleged laptop, let's say.
Thank you.
Or they're looking at vote
I like her more and more.
rigging conspiracies, right?
Now, remember, these are many of the same people who tried to compare former President Trump to Hitler. But what's really the purpose of this?
Yeah, allegorical insults aren't the same as talking about like ivermectin or fucking anti-vaxxers.
New disinformation board. Let's discuss with Michael Savage, host of the Michael Savage podcast
and part-time dinner theater detective in a wacky roundabout kind of a comedy, the likes of which you've never seen, every Wednesday night at the Sizzler in Oak Lawn.
A National Radio Hall of Famer and author of Our Fight for America, The War Continues.
Oh, wait a minute. Has this motherfucker ever been on Air Force One? He looks like he was there to change the oil.
Dr. Savage, great to see you tonight.
What, honestly, what the war continues? Is he about to flash Air Force One? Is he getting dressed after he and Air Force One had sex?
My friend, so during his testimony, Mayorkas claimed he wasn't even aware of Jankowicz's past statements. Do you buy that for 1 minute that the DHS secretary didn't know about who he was hiring?
Logan, this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. Thanks for having me on.
What heart? And also, what kind of Aztec Cocopelli, what is that on his? I was saying it for a second. It looked like a piece of like native or native Mexican artwork, but it also might be a car part or a broken toy from a child he once made cry, and he wears it every day just to remind himself.
Max TV. I'm the only American broadcaster banned in Britain for things I said and didn't say. People.
Wow. So what's the stuff you didn't say that got you banned?
Forget I was the first one canceled. They talk about cancel a comedian. Screw comedians. They're nobody.
Excuse me.
Bodies.
Excuse me. Screw comedians. There's nobodies. You don't get to screw me just because you want to. Hat.
How about commentators like myself who can't
Yes, how about commentators? Well, first they came for the commentators.
enter
And as taters go, he's fairly common.
England because they smeared me and made stuff up about me? But forget about
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
me for a minute. This girl, Jankowicz, is the most dangerous creature they've come up with yet out of the swamp. And I'm going to entitle today's show, from me, my part, Logan, something I coined years ago called Big Sis is a Miss.
Big sis is a miss. Women taking over is going to ruin this country. Is that where we're going?
I came up with it years ago.
Yes, it doesn't sound like a new idea.
During the Obama years.
Uh-huh.
As a takeoff on Big Brother.
Oh, yeah. So it's right, because your sister's going to tattle on you.
We're not being run by Big Brother. We're being run by Big Sis. And Big Sis is a miss. This information
you're checking your own notes on your weird little phrase.
Governance Board is a left-wing fascistic think tank, is what it is. Let me say this, and I'll be very clear about it to everyone.
Okay, eventually. He is. Hang in there.
Listening.
I stopped listening minutes ago. Again, for those of you who don't know, this is a broadcaster, a commentator, the average tater, more of a dictator than a commentator. But yes, Michael Savage is his radio name. His real name is Michael Weiner. And the only thing that he and I have ever agreed on is that if that was my name, I would change it to Savage as well. I would just change Michael to Savage instead of his last name. I would have gone with Savage Weiner. I mean, he started his radio career in the late 80s. Well, I mean, how could you go wrong? Savage Weiner in the morning. Boy, talk about drive time.
Whatever the number of people are listening, these words.
Besides my audience that's already tuned out, quite frankly, they're boiling eggs at this point. Get on with it. Even I have to say, as CG humans go, it's a pretty good facsimile.
Should travel throughout the world.
Yeah, no. It's going to stop here.
Biden gang is moving our nation backwards into the dark ages.
Yes, remember the dark ages when women ran everything? When Big Sis Elizabeth, during the Elizabethan, the Victorian era.
Uncensored speech is being destroyed. The lights are going out.
Oh, all right. Nope, still on.
The deprivation of free speech is prevalent under these fascists.
So far, sentences, these are words. They don't really have any meaning, but you keep saying them. So points for that. That's how you know you can accuse him of a lot of things, but dead air isn't one of them.
This is a cult of lies and a cult of war.
Cult of lies and a cult of war. The whole thing about peace and openness, they want you to think they want gay marriage, but they want the gays to not be married. They think they want you to believe that they want women's right to choose, but they want to eliminate a woman's right to actually, fuck that. Wait, okay, hold on, back up.
The conception of the Biden gang is that the citizen belongs to the state.
Yes, but my question is, in that idea, does the life of the idea begin at conception, or?
And tolerating no opinions but their own, and feeding on hatred.
He's reading this. Fuck me.
We must resist the fear of speaking and expressing ourselves, the fear which now darkens the sunlight of freedom.
Darkens the sunlight of freedom. Imagine how powerful these words would be if they had any meaning whatsoever. Just keep humming. Someone hum the national anthem. All right.
In America. I don't
thanks for adding "in America" on the end of that. I mean, I think that legally he has to.
Believe a word that Majorca said. This whole group was created for one reason.
Okay, one reason. Thank God, because you were all over the map, but knock it down. Come on.
Which was to intimidate people into speaking out against the hordes of...
Intimidate people into speaking out against the hordes into not speaking out.
Illegal aliens that they're bringing into America.
Sorry, run that by me again. The hordes of intimidating people into speaking out against the hordes of illegal aliens. Wouldn't you intimidate them against speaking out?
This whole group was created for one reason.
One reason.
Which was to intimidate people into speaking out against the hordes of illegal aliens that they're bringing into America.
Wouldn't you intimidate people into not speaking out against the hordes? Who's supposed to be Am I supposed to be intimidated? How the fuck did I end up on the side of I thought she was supposedly on my side. She's supposed to intimidate me into speaking out against the hordes? You don't... Yeah, the hordes. Hordes, not whores.
And I'll call them what they are.
Okay, call us what we are. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Hordes of
hordes.
Illegal aliens.
Okay. Hordes. It is. Hordes.
It's an army largely of single men.
Well, clearly not the kind of hordes I was hoping for.
An army.
An army of hordes. A horde of an army. A horde of army.
Being swamped into America.
Oh, they're being swamped in. Being swamped in. Fuck, man. See, I'm sorry. Did someone, like, hold him down and force him to eat, like, a bunch of, like, Trump refrigerator magnets for, like, MAGA poetry?
Logan, let me call the Biden gang.
Oh, let me conclude with this edit.
An army being swamped into America. And Logan, let me call the Biden gang.
Call the Biden gang. What the fuck did they cut out there?
We heard of the Biden-Monhoff gang.
Yeah, we've heard of the Biden-Monhoff gang.
Biden gang is far more deadly.
Oh, all right.
They're trying to put the lights of freedom out in this nation, and they're using women. Big sis is amiss, Logan. Thanks for letting me speak my piece.
Yeah, nobody... I mean, Logan looks like he lives a confused life. But the rest of us are fucking baffled. The Biden administration wants to police your speech. Look, I don't think they want to police your speech. But I think, like, perhaps a grammar crossing guard would be a bad idea. Perhaps, I don't know, maybe there should be like a vocabulary cop where they just walk up and go, yeah, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Now, Dr. Savage, let's also talk about this defamation.
Doc Savage? Excuse me, it's Professor Wiener to you.
Case playing out between Johnny Depp and his ex-wife, Amber.
What do you mean, oh yeah?
Heard. Here's just a sample of some of the...
Wait a minute, why the fuck are you jumping from... excuse me, did you not listen to him? Hordes, armies, military-aged Mexicans. They're swamping across the border. They're gonna slit our throats and make us join MS-13 while we bleed to death. And if we survive, they're gonna OD us on meth. And you want to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? Oh, right, the woman's the bad guy in this story. Cool.
The wildest moment so far.
I thought he was the love of my life. And he was. He was, but he was also this other thing. He was also this other thing. And that other thing was awful.
My side of the bed was human fecal matter.
Now, Dr. Savage.
What, has he never heard that before? Jesus. Not human fecal matter.
Here's my take. I'm sure you're probably going to...
Probably are wishing you hadn't worn a brown hat today.
Agree with this. I could care less about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
But, you know, chicks, am I right?
Celebrities. It seems like they both did bad things to each other. This has nothing to do with inflation. This is...
But they forced me to do this because my show is so fucking boring.
Nothing to do with the fact that Orthodox Jews and Asians are getting attacked in our cities.
What? Are you sure? I don't know. Amber Heard's I don't know what sets her off, and neither would Orthodox Jews and Asians. Are these Orthodox Asians?
To me, this just seems like a distraction. What do you think of the media coverage of this entire case?
What the fuck? You brought it up. Heard and Depp go after each other in court. Did he insist?
Well, they own the media, and they're probably doing this to keep their names relevant. You know,
They own the media, and they're probably doing this to keep their names relevant. Yeah, that's what Johnny Depp wanted to do. Keep his name relevant because he lost his fucking job because she shit the bed and accused him of awful stuff. But he wants this in the news because who doesn't want this? Who doesn't want literally their dirty laundry aired in public?
The real issue here is cameras in the courtroom.
Oh, okay, good. All right, I'm glad we're bringing it home. Come on, Al. Orthodox Jews make up 57% of America. Yeah, but they only make up 35% of Asians. So I don't know what to tell you.
I'm actually in favor of cameras in the courtroom, but what this is going to do is encourage other failing celebrities to create cases for themselves that are quite extreme, which will require cameras in the courtroom.
What? This is, all right, as shithead conspiracy theories go, this is just fucking dumb. So this whole business is going to encourage celebrities to just air their dirty laundry in a long court spectacle. You do realize the judge has a say in this and will throw shit out. There's no guarantee. I don't know what the fuck. Why am I arguing this point? This is just fucking stupid.
We can watch them. Watching these two go at each other was like sniffing angel dust, according to what I read about angel dust.
No, you guys know I love nothing more than secondhand drug analogies. In my writer's guide to drug analogies, chapter 4, angel dust. And it was, if the female character took a dump on her lover's bed and said that's what she thinks of him and sends a picture of him, that is like angel dust. Many people will believe it's on acid, but that should only be used for hack comedy premises from 1987.
It is narcissism and exhibitionism given to us. It's the Ringling Brothers of the courtroom. It's ruining the family. It's ruining marriage. It's ruining.
How the fuck is it? Why would you? What the fuck would this have to do with my marriage or my relationship? Why?
Us sitting, it's ruining us, our nation. Why is anyone watching this? For distraction. They're both rich and famous. Neither of them is innocent.
And this time, one of them wasn't murdered. I mean, right now we're all Amber Heard.
And as I said earlier in the week, it was.
As I was commenting about how this is a distraction and we shouldn't even be talking about it earlier in the week, and then of course again twice on Tuesday.
The draw. They both drew blood. I watched both of them. They both drew blood. Their careers were already tumbling, and so now we can't wait to see them in their next movie to see how they look.
Oh, God.
This is a great PR stunt. It's a result of camera.
Why is this asshole smiling? Okay, this is like, if the Reader had a page 6
in the courtroom.
Dr. Michael Savage, thank you so much for your time tonight.
What the fuck?
We always enjoy you having you here on the.
We always enjoy you having us here.
Yeah, so thanks for being with us.
Logan, remember, I'm the only one in the American media canceled in an entire nation. They all cry about being canceled on Twitter, canceled on Facebook. I'm canceled in Britain for things I didn't even say.
Well, real quick on that, let's expand on that one quick moment. You were canceled because you essentially called out the jihadist threat, and they canceled you. They didn't allow you into Britain. And we saw that Colleyville synagogue hostage taker get in here in an inappropriate way, going.
Yes, dressed as Amber Heard.
Through all the.
Amber Turd, sorry.
The processes he should have to take people hostage in a synagogue as part of a terrorist cell in England. And for calling that out, you got banned from Britain. So
there's a lot of people who've called out the grooming gangs and all that kind of stuff. And strangely, they all managed to be able to go to England. It might have been how you said it more than what you said.
Put me on a list.
The story behind it.
They put him on a list.
Put me on a list in England.
Yeah, but they, technically speaking, they call Wieners bangers over there, and he refused to change his name.
And they lumped me in with skinheads in Russia at the time, 2009, who had beaten people to death in the streets, foreigners that they didn't like. They took an American broadcaster and they smeared me, and it was done through Hillary Clinton, the best I can figure out.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, this all makes sense. Have you talked to John Paul McIsaac?
Big sis is a miss. She worked,
oh, fuck's sake,
with her friends in the British government to smear me and ban me from Britain. So I was the first major figure in the...
Good Lord. You can just feel this asshole spitting in your ear as he says this at a fucking bar. I was fucking... Look, buddy, I'll tell you what.
American media canceled by an entire...
I was sitting here, okay, fuck it. And I was like, hey, and she fucking Hillary Clinton made sure I'm fucking... Sorry. I'm, doing my thing. So, talk to you later.
Nation. So when you hear about cancellation, I would hope that the people never forget my name, Michael Savage.
Yeah, Michael Wiener.
And I am still banned in Britain. And the terrible part of all...
Yeah, it's weird, though, because apparently to be banned there, you have to have worse teeth and breath than a royal.
Logan, is I cannot go over there to enjoy the cuisine or get my teeth fixed. And they're well known for their dental work and their cuisine, aren't they?
I love jokes from 1982 as much as the next person, but...
I was about to say that. You can get much better food, better beaches here.
I want to hear a tight 5 from Hal Sparks on just Wiener's name. We can make that happen. I mean, I can tie it into the Anthony Weiner laptop bit that I had years ago.
In the U.S. That's why we fought the war in part, right?
That was a joke. That was a bad joke. Thanks for having
Yes, it was. It was bad. I don't know that it qualifies as a joke.
me, Logan. I love Newsmax TV.
No.
I love Newsmax as well. Did you say what I thought you said?
Right?
That was a joke. That was a bad joke. Thanks for having me, Logan. I love Newsmax TV.
No hard feelings to the British people. Dr. Savage, thank you so much for your time.
Love the Brits. Yeah, nobody's watching. No one.